What's up YouTube, Dave again, bringing you another one of my favourite decks, and that is Deskbots. Now I absolutely love Deskbots because they're kind of like little desktop robots. So if you've seen the artwork of all the Deskbots, you've got like, they're all parts of stationery that have kind of come together to perform these little robots, and I think it's absolutely awesome. Now back in the day, these were a really cool kind of art type. We used to get a different Deskbot each set, starting at Duelist Alliance, I believe it was, and it was a really fun kind of deck because they were just these little monsters that could take off absolute behemoth of monsters, and it was always a fun deck to play. So what I've done is I've kind of brought it back together. I did see Karatula's video on Deskbots, and it made me go, wow, I do want to bring these back. Like, I haven't touched them for such a long time. I wanted to put them together and kind of bring them forward into the link age. So what I'll do is I'll take you through the deck profile, talk you through what we play and why we play it, and you know, I hope it does inspire you guys to pick this deck up because it's a very cheap and fun deck to play, and I absolutely love it. So we start off with a standard Deskbot lineup of Deskbot 1. This is your tuner of the deck, and it kind of revives itself from graveyard. Triple Deskbot 2. This kind of gives all your monsters an extra 500 boost. When it's special summoned, you can add a Deskbot from your hand. Sorry, add a Deskbot from your deck to your hand. Triple Deskbot 3, this is your powerhouse play, because it basically, when this card is normal summoned, you special summon one Deskbot monster from your deck. So you would normal summon Deskbot 3, get Deskbot 2, and loop around a little bit like that. Once per turn during each player's turn, you can target one Deskbot monster you control. It gains 500 attack and defense for each Deskbot card you currently control until the end of this turn. So it was very nice to kind of beef that up and boost that over. Next up, we play Triple Deskbot 4. This card is really awesome, and it can get around Ash because it does it during the damage step. It sends a Deskbot monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then it gains attack points equal to its level times 500. So you can send like a Deskbot 9, gain its attack points, and boom, you've gone over a monster. But I believe your opponent takes no battle damage for the rest of this turn. But if it destroys a monster by battle, you special summon 2 Deskbot monsters with different levels from your hand and or graveyard in defense position, so you bring back what you sent. And then your opponent takes no battle damage, so you basically just able to clear off your opponent's big behemoth monsters. Triple Deskbot 5, this is a very cool card, and it obviously helps with your pendulum summons as well. It was used in the old day to go into Infinity and so Nova into Infinity, but other than that, it's a nice level 10 scale. You very rarely use the pendulum summon abilities of this deck, but if you do, they can actually help you out massively. If it's normal or special summoned, you target a spell attack card on the field and destroy it, and then it gains 500 attack for each face-up Deskbot monster in your extra deck. If this card in the pendulum zone is destroyed, you target a Deskbot monster in your graveyard and special summon it. We play Double Deskbot 6. Again, it's a nice kind of, obviously these are in the opposite, 7 and 8 are opposite scales, and so is 5 and 6. If this card is normal or special summoned, you target one monster on the field and change its battle position. But then if it is destroyed in the pendulum zone, you target one Deskbot card in the graveyard and add it to your hand. We play Double Deskbot 007, James Bond Deskbot. It gains 500 attack for each Deskbot card in your graveyard. Monsters your opponent control cannot target face-up Deskbot monsters for attack, except this one. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. So if you get 2 of these aboard, you've got a nice little soft lock. Double Deskbot 8. So Deskbot 8, if it gains 500 attack for each Deskbot card in your graveyard, again as well. And then this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So it's a nice one to kind of clear the board off. We then play the 1 Deskbot 009. We play the 1 Gen X Alley Birdman. This is nice to kind of recycle back your Deskbot 3s and stuff like that, and kind of help you move your plays forward, but obviously gets you in because it's a tuner to more synchro plays as well. Now the last one is a nice little tech that Daniel, that used to play this deck, I haven't seen him for a while, so you know, I hope he does get to watch this, is Speedwood Menko, because A, it's a machine, and number 2, it's a level 4, number 3, it works with Gen X Alley as well, and not many people expect Menko, and Menko could be a nice little drop from hand if you do leave the board wide open, or if your opponent does have an open board. It is a 41 card deck, so you don't have to play Menko. It is more of a sentimental kind of touch in the deck than it is a necessity. So our other cards that we play the 1 Hand Trap with Max C because it's the most powerful hand trap in the game, the 1 Jet Synchron, and the 1 Glow Up Bulb to kind of help with our 1-for-1 plays and push our synchro plays as well as our link plays on top of that. Because Glow Up Bulb is an Earth, so are the rest of these, so we do go into Mischievous Radiant. You can obviously play more than 1 Mischievous Radiant should you wish, but Mischievous Radiant can also recycle your Glow Up Bulb. Now for our spells, we play triple Deskbot base. This is a field spell that is kind of busted. So all Deskbot monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense, and then once per turn you reveal any number of Deskbot cards in your hand, shuffle them back in the deck, and then draw the same amount of cards. You banish 9 Deskbot cards with different names from your field and or graveyard except base. Shuffle all cards your opponent's hand, field and graveyard into the deck. So you basically start your opponent back with 0, which is very, very nice. Double Machine Dupe. Because Machine Dupe can become less effective, obviously you use it on Deskbot 2 that can help you out massively. But of course, when Deskbot 2 kind of hits the board, or have multiple Despots on the board, Deskbot 2 can kind of go out of this because they're all 500 baseline, but the second another Despot's on board, that Despot goes up by 500. So it can hinder it a little bit. And obviously Deskbot base hinders all of them because it gives them all an extra 500. So it's entirely up to you. You either favour base or you favour Machine Dupe. I personally favour base in this one. Even though it's not as important of a field spell because we don't play any terraformings, it's not like a game changer like Resort or the Draco field spell. So it's got a Dragon diagram, sorry. So it's kind of an option there for you. And next up we play triple Scapegoat, because the tokens get turned into Beast and Earth, so it's another way to get into your Mischievous Radiant. It's a nice little one to kind of help the board move along. You can obviously play Gaia Saber in this deck as well, and that gives you another alternative to use Scapegoat to get into another Link monster. But of course you do have the ability to turn those into Mischievous Radiants and then help move your plays along. Now they're not set in stone, you can take these out because obviously they can only get you into Mischievous Radiant because we do play Borrowload and Decode Talker. So if you were to take out any more and go to a Gaia Saber, then you'll have more uses for the Scapegoat. It's just a nice easy way of getting into a Mischievous Radiant. On top of that, you could obviously play 2 Mischievous Radiants, go into 2 Mischievous Radiants, and straight away you've got the ability to go into a Decode Talker, and on top of that your Mischievous Radiants can help bring you back your Earth monsters. We've got the 1 for 1 for all of our tuners, basically our Despot 1, our Glart Bulb, and of course our Jet Synchron. We've got the 1 terraforming for our Despot base. We don't need to flood the deck with 3 because as soon as you've got a Despot base, unless your opponent's going to disrupt that Despot base with destroying it, you don't need multiple copies. One reasoning, because the levels you play go everywhere from 1 to 9. You've got so many different levels, the reasoning is very, very powerful in this deck. The 1 limiter removal, because you drop this in damage count, you've pretty much got game, especially with like your Despot free play as well. And then we've got the 1 Dark Hole, which can easily be Raigeki if you wish. For our trap lineup, we play double Solemn Strike and 1 Solemn Warning. You can take these traps out if you wish, and you can put in stuff like Twin Twisters. You can take down the Scapegoats if you want and put in Twin Twisters as well, because sometimes you will have dead cards in your hand, and of course you can beef up your other Despot monsters, so it is an option for you there. Again, it is entirely up to you. The deck is quite nicely versatile, so whatever you pick and choose. So for the Link monsters, we play the 1 Mischievous Radiant, the 1 Borrowload Dragon, because on top of the Borrowload, you can then help use your Despot monsters to get into him, and it can be very, very powerful. Obviously, your Mischievous Radiant is another one that kind of hurts your Machine Dupe because it gives all your monsters an extra 500 boost. On the other flip side of that, it can make them a little bit more powerful to beat through your opponent's defences. And then the 1 Decode Talker, because again, we can get this in nice and easily, and it unlocks you more spaces for your desktop plays. Okay, so for our Synchros, we play the Ignister. Because we do play the Pendulum Scales, Ignister is still an incredibly powerful card for when you have Pendulum Scales available to you, especially with the non-target shuffle. The 1 Cypher and Lord Omega, the most powerful rank level 8 Synchro around there, because you can banish it and bring it back into a main monster zone. Your 1 Despot Jet. Now you can play Jet at 2. 1 is enough for me in this build because I'm playing around with the extra deck to kind of see what works and what is more staple. But this card gains 500 attack and defense for each Despot card on the field. You can only use the following effects once per turn. You target a Despot card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon 1 Despot monster from your deck. Or you can target a Despot card you control and 1 face-up card on the field and destroy them. So it's a nice little 1 for 1. But also in the graveyard on the field, it can also work for desktop base. The 1 Powdered Exector, because this is a nice little protection level 6, you don't have to play this. Your other options for your level 6 are Balkion. I like playing Coral Dragon and of course Stardust Charge Warrior. Stardust gives you that extra draw, but of course on top of that you can then use these guys to synchro up a little bit as well. for our level 7s, these are a bit all over the place, I do apologise, is 1 clearing and 1 rose, obviously a board reset and a bit of protection. We've got the 1 Nat Beast because they're all earth monsters, so Nat Beast can still be incredibly powerful, especially under Mischief Radiant. It makes it harder for it to be beaten over as a 2700 beta. We've got the 1 Crystal Wing because it can be made very, very easily when we've got Jet Synchron and Glart Bulbing play and move that around. And for our rank 4s, we've got the 1 number 41 Baguska because it is the most powerful rank 4 at this moment in time. And of course, our 1 Gigagan X. This can search you out. Obviously, ideally, you want to search out your Deskbot 3. That is your main card you want in your hand for your first turn. To normal summon that, special summon your 2s, and you can kind of start building your board from there. So, that is it for the deck profile. It does give you a couple of options and a couple of alternatives. It is a very, very fun deck, just for nostalgia reasons. Even if you just go with your friends and go, look guys, let's play the Duelist Alliance format. Back in the day, you know, people will have Tellarknights, people will have Shadows, Burning Abyss. You might even be able to argue to put Despots in there or something of that. Despots are still very, very fun to play. And at this moment in time, I'm assuming they're very, very cheap as well. So definitely pick them up because it is more of a fun, enjoyable deck. Like if you ever get the meta stale, playing Despots will always make you laugh and giggle when you're putting up these little Despot beasts, which I'm hoping that in like real life they're about the size of this die here, and they're coming up against Blue Eyes, like Chaos Max that you can assume are like giant houses. Like it's just absolutely amazing to kind of think that way through. Anyway, fully enjoyable. Obviously tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so as always guys, I would like to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell because we are building up to our 2nd year anniversary. And as always guys, happy dueling and a very Merry Christmas. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.